Hi, Doc Mosh here. Last time I talked about my game and that it took me 1.5 years to finish up about 50% of my game. And in that video I showed you the maps I made. But I didn't really talk much about the features I used and why I decided to implement them. So now is the time. Starting off with the biggest feature I used, and this is the Point-and-Click Adventure Toolkit, and this one saved and took me the most time. When I decided to start a point-and-click adventure game, I didn't really know where to start, and so I went on YouTube and watched a lot of different tutorials on features which I thought would fit the game. And after a while, I realized I made a lot of stuff, but even more stuff was still missing. And I knew on this pace, with the limited time I have, I need to find a faster way. And then the point and click adventure toolkit came to my mind, which I tried out many months ago, but I couldn't find a starting point on how to learn it and how to use it. And because this toolkit is absolutely not beginner friendly, it has so much features and stuff built in which are not covered in the documentation, and so I gave up on it. After many months, I gave it a second shot and I thought maybe now I'm more experienced and maybe this will help, but it wasn't any better. The only thing which saved me at the end was a YouTube tutorial specifically on the PNC toolkit from McFly Gold. He was or he is a user of the toolkit, and this saved my ass. I followed it and was able to at least start with the first small things myself over the next couple of months, and I was able to go further on my game. When I had some questions, I went to the Discord server and step by step and brick by brick, I was able to build the first 10 minutes of gameplay. A small area with two rooms, so the player is able to test out the game before having big areas and many people to talk to, and it went really smooth. And I was confident to go even further. The good thing was that this toolkit provided so many features which I didn't have to implement. I just had to understand them and how they were implemented. There was a proper save system, an item integration, a dialogue system, inventory system, data tables for all kind of things. Overall, all things you need to make the game you want. It even had many small things, like if you choose an item out of your inventory, the small cursor shows you the picture of the item, and level transitions, working menus, and this really helped me a lot to make a proper game and then learn everything. The save system within the game is pretty simple and straightforward. It was built in the toolkit and saves everything with its UID, and basically items and characters are saved from interactions to dialogues, or if items are picked up, and months went by and I was able to create 8 new locations, many characters and new features in the game. Like for example, I hate it when I talk to someone in the game and when I go back to the exact same person and click on him again and the exact same dialogue comes again. So I implemented a simple Boolean check. So if the dialogue's already happened and if yes, then do the other dialogue. It's a lot more work to do because for every interaction you have to make two dialogues, but small things within the game are the most important things, at least in my opinion. Same goes for the pedestrians. So many point-and-click adventure games are missing a proper pedestrian system within the game. And I don't like it because the world feels so empty. So I followed a tutorial from Code Like Me and implemented a simple pedestrian system. The short version is every placed pedestrian has a trigger box which they are used for searching a specific pedestrian points placed around the map. And whenever the trigger box finds one, the NPC will walk to it, and after reaching the point, the next search for the next point is starting. If there is more than one point available, the NPC will choose a random one. A simple but very effective feature, and this is adding so much to the overall look and feel of my game. And to be honest, I can't imagine my game in its current state without those pedestrians. And after the system was working, I tweaked it a little bit more and gave the base man and woman 5 different hairstyles. And whenever the level gets loaded in, every NPC is choosing a random one for a bit of variety. I did the same thing for the material color of their clothing, so the pedestrians are all look a bit different each time. The toolkit itself features many different ways on how to solve a puzzle, but one thing I wanted to implement, which wasn't a feature of the toolkit, was some kind of mini game. I wanted to give the player something which is just a little bit different. So I made the first thing completely by myself, which are those widget mini games. I started off with this phone mini game. It's the smallest and shortest one. It was my very first one. Some informations you need hidden in one of the apps, and the one I'm really proud of is this PC mini game here. On the very start of the game, Nate needs to pay something on his e-banking account, but you don't have the informations you need right away. You need a password for a login, then know who you have to pay it, and at the end, you have to know the right amount which you have to spend. And on the PC, you have several folders from emails to save lists and so on. Going through it will give you more insight of the player itself, and on the other hand, it reveals the needed informations to solve the puzzle. Or in this scene, you have to go through a video footage to find somebody. I simplified it by not having actual video footage. The fast forward and rewind button will jump to specific moments of the footage, or in simple terms, I used photos. Absolutely not, because I don't know how to implement the video. This was made by design, definitely. Yeah, definitely design choice. The hardest puzzle to solve by far is this book. The text you see in this video is German because all of my playtesters do speak German. And this book here contains a text, and inside this text is a code you have to decipher. This riddle is currently by far the hardest one in the game, and it's a small story about some different birds, and you have to figure out the position of the birds within the story and what they are carrying. A small but important feature is my so-called detective sense. Whenever pixel hunting is necessary, you can press this button and every character you can talk to and every item you can interact with will be highlighted. It's small, but the most important thing I want to prevent is the player from using the internet. As soon as you use the internet for my game, basically it's done. If you use it once, you most likely will use it again, and that is something I do not want. Another really important thing for this point-and-click adventure game, at least in my opinion, is the possibility of fast travel. Searching for items or people or just simple forget something which requires you to walk through all of the areas can be nerve-wracking. This is just the very first system I integrated. Maybe I will remake it in a better way or as soon as I have an idea for one. But it works really simple. As you can see, when I click this button, it will open the menu for all the areas I can visit. In this case, I only have one because all of the areas I visited is this one. And as soon as I change the area to the next one, it will appear in the menu. The most tricky part in the system was to find some kind of trigger that will only show the map when you have visited it at least once. Otherwise, the player is able to skip through a big portion of the game, and I don't want that to happen. Overall, I had a pretty good starting point, with all the tools I have and some which will follow. But making a game is still a ton of work. I'm really happy that many packs did save me a lot of time and do let my game look way more polished. But in the end, no pack from the store will finish my product, and it's good as it is. Getting help is very good, but the product in the end should be something I can be proud of, and currently, I really am. There are many more small things I did, but I think for now that's enough about the technical side of my game. And if you're interested in knowing more about my game, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, and thanks for watching.